Hey, that's me, Gerald Franks. I love backpacking and I've decided to backpack the Colorado Trail, but I'm going to be doing it a bit differently than most. Since I don't have the time to take 4 or 5 weeks off from my job, I've decided to break it up in 100-mile sections over the course of a week for the next 5 years. I've done plenty of backpacking over the last 10 years, but typically for 3 to 4 nights and at the most 40 miles. This would be a completely new adventure and next step in my backpacking evolution. This is my story.
This week I am going to be hiking segment 1 through segment 7. I'm going to be doing it about 6.5 days and covering about 120 miles. So this is day 1. Started at the Waterton Canyon trailhead and looking forward to see what kind of adventures we have on the trail. So far these have been some of the typical views of segment 1. At least on this the dirt road part, which is about a little over 6 miles I have of this, and I've gone about 4.5, so just a little bit left. But this is typically what I've been seeing, walking through a canyon next to the river. All right, we got our first wildlife sighting here on the Colorado Trail. Bighorn sheep. Just chilling out in the shade. Tell you, I'm so glad to be off that dirt road on the trails. Oh, this is so much nicer. This is what I was expecting. I knew I was going to have that 6.5 miles of flat dirt road, no shade, but you know, that's just part of it. It's part of the trail sometimes. That's what you got to do. So that's what I did. Now, it's so nice to be here in the forest. As you can tell, I'm going up the switchbacks, going up the mountain. Finally get to push my legs a little bit. Actually feels pretty good. So, whew, beautiful day. Sunny day, warm day. I don't think it's going to get too cold tonight. I'm not going to be that high at elevation, maybe around 6,000 feet, between 6 and 7. Not quite sure where I'm going to camp yet, but yeah, beautiful day. No rain, you know, clear blue skies. Great. A few more miles to the campsite. The campsite I had originally picked out, I hear, is having bear activity. So, not sure if I want to stay around there. It is called Bear Creek. But, yes, we might press on a little further. A few more miles than intended today. I think we'll have plenty of daylight, so we'll see what the trail brings us. Morning, guys. Day 2 of my Colorado Trail adventure. I'm still on segment 1. Only hiked in about 9 miles yesterday. Found a good campsite next to some water, and also was able to camp with a couple other guys, which is always nice when you can do that. So I got up early this morning, about 6, trying to get on the trail around 7. Got big miles today, maybe 24. Got a little dry stretch coming up, and so kind of pushed it today. It's fairly flat 24, so that's why I'm going to try to push it a little bit today. Got a little bit of an uphill climb first thing this morning, but other than that it's fairly flat, so let's see what we can do. Alright, here we come. End of segment 1. Got another trailhead here, some water, restrooms. Sweet. Gonna take a little lunch break and then hit segment 2. Find me a nice little spot here underneath the bridge. Got some trail and some fresh water. Got me a little snack. Take a little break. And then we'll head on, load up at segment 2. Alright, segment 2. New segment, new look. We're going to be in primarily a burn area, so just going to try to keep covered up as much as I can. Protect myself from the sun. We'll be good to go. So here we go, segment 2. Hey guys, so just taking a little break here, actually resting for a while. Coming up that mountain wore me out. About mile 15, got about 5 more miles till I reach the next water and possibly camp. So might be camping around there depending on how the next 5 go. Supposed to be a lot more flat. I think the up is done. Thank goodness. Yeah, it's wore me out. Beautiful day. Ooh, yeah. I'm ready to get to camp and set up and just go to sleep. Get ready to do it all over again tomorrow. Whoa, that was a rough segment 2. I think I got a little overheated there. Didn't realize how warm and open that was going to be. It was only about 10 miles, and I figured I'd be fine. And 5 of it was going to be flat, just flat, wide open, no shade, 90 degrees, probably 2:30 in the afternoon. So I probably hit it at the absolute worst time, but you know, it's what I had to do coming in from segment 1. So I'm just worn out. I may not even have dinner tonight. There's no water on that stretch, and so I had to stop at a firehouse that has a spigot. They have water, and I just kind of stayed there for a couple hours and just rested and tried to regain some strength as I was out of water and I was done. And I was on about 20 miles. And so luckily half a mile down the road was a campsite. It is dry, but I filled up at the firehouse. And so I'm just resting here now, thinking about just putting up my tarp and going on to bed. It's about 7 o'clock. But rough day. Yeah, segment 1, segment 2. Not the greatest segments, but that's what you got to do sometimes in a drier type of trail. The big views are coming up in the future segments. So hopefully segment 3 will be a little more interesting than today. There were some pretty views for sure, but I think I was just too worried about getting water and not passing out. But no, it was a good day, tiring day. I think I'm just going to sleep in and just see how the rest of it, how tomorrow goes. So, see you in the morning. Hey folks, all right, day 3. Finishing up segment 2. First thing in the morning here. Got about a half mile before I complete segment 2. And then we're on to segment 3. Gonna take it a little bit easier today than yesterday. Yesterday kind of wore me out a little bit. Taught me a little bit of a lesson. So nice and easy. Plenty of water. No overexertion. We'll see how we do today. Shooting for 20 miles, but we'll see how it goes. Looks like to be a beautiful morning. Blue skies, probably in the mid 60s right now. So great weather for hiking. So let's go enjoy a hike. All right, time for a little storytelling while I walk on this kind of dirt road heading out of segment 2. So last night, I wasn't feeling well, didn't eat dinner, just crashed in the hammock around 7:30, 8 o'clock, and tried to get some sleep, but I think my legs were just aching too bad. I didn't get the best sleep last night. But one thing that also kept me awake were these howling coyotes. Not all night, but maybe once, twice, every other hour. And I could hear them kind of all around my camp. For the most part, they sounded like they were a long way away off in the distance. But there was one time, it was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I swear it seemed like there was one coyote that was maybe a couple hundred yards from my camp. I didn't see anything, but hearing him howl, I was like, oh my goodness, that guy is right next to my hammock. And so didn't see anything else the rest of the night. I'd hear his buddies howling, which seemed to be like miles away. But yeah, so not the best night's sleep last night. But legs feel pretty good this morning. My head definitely feels better. Still not the hungriest. We're just gonna take it nice and easy this morning, and most of it should be tree covered, at least some trees, so plenty of breaks, plenty of rest, slow going. All right, just finished up segment 2. Glad to be done with that section. And now I'm on to segment 3.
All right. Overall impressions of segment 1 and segment 2. Well, I have to be honest, these are probably my 2 least favorite segments of the entire trail. Segment 16 and 17 are fairly close, but I would have to say that segment 1 and 2 were probably my least favorite. Um, so I was excited about starting the Colorado Trail, obviously, but that first 6 mile road walk, very exposed. It was hot that day, even though it was early September, it was still extremely hot that day, and it just wasn't that, you know, enjoyable of a hike. It wasn't until you got into the woods where it felt a little more like, to me, what I thought that the Colorado Trail was going to be. So segment 1 wasn't really that impressive. And then segment 2 is probably my least favorite at all. It's a burned area, it's very exposed. And as you saw there in the video, I think I had heat exhaustion where I just didn't properly plan that day. I hit that segment during the middle of the afternoon when I had already hiked probably 10 miles. It started around noon and still needed to go another 10 miles to get to the firehouse where the water was at. And it was just miserable. I was underprepared. It was low 90s that day, very exposed. And yeah, I paid the price for that with heat exhaustion, where I kind of laid at the firehouse for, um, a couple hours where I was just drinking water and just trying to recover from that. Definitely not my two favorite segments of the Colorado Trail, but it was definitely an adventure.